It's crazy to think about, but everything really can change in just a matter of seconds. One single phone call, one name read out at a podium in front of millions of people, and suddenly the entire trajectory of a storied, massive NFL franchise is shifted completely overnight. Welcome to this NFL Nexus Explainer. I'm your host, and today we are breaking down a story that goes far, far beyond your typical off-season headlines. We're not just looking at a draft pick here. We are looking at a franchise desperately searching for salvation, and we're examining the highly calculated, incredibly high-stakes blueprint they are using to finally find it. Because this is about the brutal, unforgiving anatomy of an NFL rebuild. We are going to dive into the microscopic details, the absolute smallest things that literally mean the difference between building a dynasty and ending up an absolute disaster. Okay, let's dive right into this.
So, how exactly do you rebuild a broken franchise? I just want to let that question hang in the air for a second. Really feel the immense, crushing weight of it. Because for years, the Las Vegas Raiders have essentially existed in this constant state of turbulence. We're talking about decades of wandering the desert, trying to live up to the massive, haunting, legendary legacy of the Silver and Black. Think about it. It's been a never-ending revolving door of head coaches, quarterbacks, and front office executives. And all of them, every single one, was just trying to capture lightning in a bottle. We've seen them swing for the absolute fences in free agency. We've seen them execute these massive blockbuster trades and completely overhaul their entire football philosophy time and time again. And what happens? They find themselves right back at square one in a brutally competitive AFC West. The intense pressure of the Las Vegas spotlight absolutely demands greatness. But the hard truth? True greatness cannot be rushed. It just can't. It has to be meticulously constructed from the ground up, brick by agonizing brick. And the answer to this massive, franchise-altering question doesn't begin with that billion-dollar stadium they play in or a flashy free agent signing. It begins with a single foundational decision. A decision that carries the hopes, the dreams, and the immense suffocating anxiety of an entire fan base.
Number 1. The number 1 overall pick. Let me tell you, there is absolutely nowhere to hide when you are selected first overall in the National Football League. The monumental weight of expectations placed right on the shoulders of Fernando Mendoza is almost impossible to quantify. The very second his name was called by the commissioner, a clock started ticking. He is no longer just a talented prospect out of college. He is the newly minted face of the Las Vegas Raiders. He is the multi-million-dollar investment upon which the next decade of this entire organization will be judged. And the pressure? It is suffocating. Literally suffocating. The 24/7 media cycle in Vegas is going to dissect absolutely everything. And I mean everything. Every single throw in a basic 7-on-7 drill. Every pre-snap read he makes in August. Every step he takes inside that facility is going to be put under a microscope. The general manager's job, the head coach's livelihood, it is all tethered directly to his right arm. But to truly understand how Mendoza is handling this crushing, life-altering pressure, we actually have to look at his very first and perhaps his most crucial move as a professional.
The ink is dry. No missed days, locked in. Now, in the modern NFL, we have seen time and time again just how disastrous a rookie contract holdout can be. Let's really look at the microscopic details of why this matters so much, because it's massive. When a young quarterback misses even a single week of training camp, the mechanical and mental damage is staggering. It's not just missing practice, it's missing the foundational offensive installation days. Think about how an offense is built. Day 1, they install base running concepts. Day 2, it's play action off those runs. Day 3, they introduce complex third down blitz pickups. If a rookie misses those specific days, they are mathematically behind. It's like trying to jump onto a speeding train. They lose the critical micro-timing with their receivers. And in the NFL, that micro-timing is the literal difference between anticipating a 15-yard dig route for a first down and waiting a split second too long, resulting in a devastating pick six. An entire rookie campaign can be completely derailed before the kid even puts on pads. But not Mendoza. The immediate collective sigh of relief inside the Raiders facility when Mendoza officially signed his rookie contract right before training camp kicked off was palpable. You could feel it. There was this fierce urgency to get this done. He averted a total crisis, demonstrating to the coaching staff, the front office, and crucially to the hardened, grizzled veterans in that locker room that he is entirely, unequivocally focused on playing football.
Actually, let's just look at his own words on the matter. Mendoza stated, "It was very big that I didn't miss any days, especially in training camp, because I want to make sure I take advantage of every opportunity that is presented in front of me and inspire that with my teammates as well, ready to get to work." I want you to look closely at the profound maturity in his language here. He doesn't just want to be there for himself, just to get his own individual reps in. He is already analyzing how his presence, his punctuality, his dedication, his total refusal to let contract negotiations become a sideshow or a distraction, how all of that inspires the rest of the 53-man roster. That is exceedingly rare for a rookie.
It really is. He has this laser focus. He possesses this innate, highly mature understanding that every single repetition in training camp, every single snap taken under center in the sweltering summer heat, is a critical, non-negotiable building block for his long-term development. He gets it.
Section 1. Inside the quarterback room.
But here's the thing. Raw talent and a good work ethic, they aren't enough on their own. To truly forge a franchise savior, you have to place him in the exact right crucible. Let's step away from the flashing cameras and the media scrums and transition into the high-pressure, intensely competitive environment where multiple careers are set to collide. I'm talking about the quarterback room. Because behind closed doors, this is where the real war is actually won. It's a ruthless ecosystem of relentless studying, intense film sessions, and quiet underlying rivalry. Just look at the precise architecture of the Raiders' quarterback room this season. First, you have Kirk Cousins, the grizzled, longtime veteran who has quite literally seen every single disguise coverage and exotic blitz package the NFL has to offer. Cousins knows the microscopic intricacies of manipulating a boundary safety with just a glance of his eyes. He knows how to diagnose a crazy cover zero blitz and completely change the protection scheme at the line of scrimmage in a fraction of a second. Then, you have Aiden O'Connell, grinding through his third or fourth year, a player who has battled in the trenches, taken the brutal hits, and knows exactly what it takes to survive the grueling week-to-week physical toll of this league. And finally, you have the rookies, Jacob Clark and Fernando Mendoza. Think about the balance there. You have the ultimate mentor in Cousins, the mid-level challenger in O'Connell, and a peer going through the exact same rookie struggles in Clark. It is a masterfully constructed room, specifically designed to feed Mendoza a steady daily diet of diverse, high-level football intelligence.
And the incredible part is that Mendoza is acutely aware of this environment. Listen to this quote. He said, "I really see the ecosystem evolving around me as well, and maintaining that dynamic equilibrium of football success with family and teammates and balancing those relationships. It's been a great challenge this offseason, and I believe that we were able to rise to the occasion." Read those words again, dynamic equilibrium. I mean, come on, this is a brilliant, almost cinematic perspective from a rookie. Most young players at this stage are just trying to keep their heads above water. They're just talking about throwing touchdowns and trying to win games. But Mendoza, he is talking about the interconnected, fragile ecosystem of professional sports, complex locker room politics, and personal life. It proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that he possesses the rare, elite mental maturity required to handle the crushing psychological pressure of the NFL. He isn't just trying to survive the room, he is analyzing his environment like a 10-year veteran.
And trust me, he is going to need every single ounce of that mental maturity, because the intricacies of an NFL offense are absolutely staggering, and the mental load placed on a quarterback is downright terrifying. Mendoza described this daunting psychological task of mastering the system, noting that a quarterback must essentially be all-knowing of the playbook. But what does being all-knowing actually look like on the grass? Let me paint the picture. It means stepping into a huddle with 10 exhausted grown men and translating a sprawling 20-word play call perfectly in a matter of seconds. It means walking to the line of scrimmage with the 40-second play clock loudly ticking down in your ear. The clock hits 15, you have to identify the exact alignment of the Mike linebacker. The clock hits 10, you have to recognize a disguised safety rotation happening 50 yards away. The clock hits 5, you have to physically adjust the offensive line slide protection and signal a hot route to your slot receiver because you know a blitz is coming. All of this before the clock hits 0. And you have to do all of this flawlessly. Because when you step into a huddle with grown men who are literally fighting for their families' livelihoods, you must inspire absolute, unwavering confidence. If you hesitate for even a second, if your voice cracks, the huddle fractures. They stop believing in you. But Mendoza, he isn't panicking. He realizes that all the necessary knowledge to survive this is right there in the palm of his hand, sitting right next to him in the film room. His job isn't to invent the answers out of thin air. His job is to leverage these incredible veteran resources in the QB room and just absorb absolutely everything.
Section 2. The Master Plan Revealed. But here is the terrifying reality of the NFL. Even with the perfect mindset, and even with the most perfectly constructed quarterback room, a rookie can still be completely ruined if the organization panics. And this brings us to the most critical factor in this entire narrative. Let's shift our focus to head coach Clint Kubiak and the highly calculated, heavily scrutinized strategy that has been designed for their franchise savior. This, right here, is where the Raiders are making a massive, dramatic departure from their past. Here is the crucial narrative twist. The savior is finally in the building. The fans have bought the jerseys. The media is swarming the practice fields every single day. But they will have to wait. Mendoza will not be rushed. The master plan is for him to sit behind Kirk Cousins, at least for the start of the regular season.
Now, in today's instant gratification NFL, sitting a #1 overall pick is a radical act of discipline. The outside noise is going to be absolutely deafening. I guarantee you the very minute the Raiders throw an interception or lose a tight game, the calls from Mendoza will echo through Allegiant Stadium. But Kubiak is drawing a line in the sand. Mendoza will learn from the sidelines. He will watch exactly how Cousins prepares on a Tuesday. He'll watch how he manages the clock in a chaotic 2-minute drill. And, crucially, he'll watch how a veteran psychologically recovers from a devastating turnover. Mendoza will learn how to be a professional long before he is ever asked to save the franchise.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why Kubiak's approach is so absolutely vital. Just compare the Clint Kubiak plan with the long, depressing list of past league failures. We all know the stories. We have all watched dysfunctional organizations draft a once-in-a-generation talent, completely panic under the intense pressure of a rabid fan base, and throw their young quarterback to the wolves on day one behind a leaky offensive line. And what happens in those microscopic game-speed moments? The rookie takes 30, 40 vicious, bone-crushing sacks in a single season. The physical toll on a 22-year-old body is brutal, but let me tell you, the psychological damage is far, far worse. They start seeing ghosts in a collapsing pocket. Their eyes drop from reading the downfield safeties to staring right at the pass rush. Their lower body mechanics completely break down. They develop happy feet and start throwing off their back foot out of sheer, terrifying survival instinct. Their development is entirely derailed, and 3 years later, that exact same team is drafting at the top of the board all over again, having completely ruined a tremendous talent. Kubiak is looking directly at that historical graveyard of ruined NFL careers, and he is flat out refusing to add Fernando Mendoza's name to the tombstones. The Kubiak plan is anchored in stubborn patience, relying on a veteran buffer, and clinging to a long-term vision, regardless of the immediate weekly results. It is a massive gamble, but it is the right one.
Because this is exactly how you go about breaking the cycle. For the first time in what feels like an absolute eternity, this coaching staff is providing the Raiders with a legitimate, unwavering compass. They are breaking years of aimless wandering and front office dysfunction. And how exactly are they doing it? First, through a clear, unified organizational vision. From the owner's box, the very top, all the way down to the lowest assistant quarterback coach. Everyone is reading from the exact same script. Nobody is going rogue. Second, they are brutally prioritizing development over immediate gratification. They are willing to take the heat. They are willing to sacrifice a flashy headline today for a championship parade tomorrow. And third, by meticulously building a sustainable, playoff-caliber foundation. This means establishing a punishing run game and a dominant, fast defense. So when Mendoza finally does take the field, whenever that is, he won't be expected to don a superhero cape and carry the entire franchise on his back. He will simply be the final lethal piece clicking perfectly into a well-oiled machine.
Section 3. Dawn of a New Era.
So what does this all culminate in, if they stick to the plan? If Mendoza continues to absorb the dynamic equilibrium of his incredibly structured environment, and if Clint Kubiak actually holds his nerve against the inevitable, crushing pressures of an NFL regular season, what is the real endgame here? Let's scale the narrative out to show the ultimate, grand objective of this disciplined patience in Las Vegas. The objective is this: a legitimate head coach and a future franchise quarterback, tied at the hip. That right there is the undeniable foundation for returning the silver and black to their former glory. Seriously, just look at the history of the NFL. Every dynasty, every consistent playoff contender that dominates a decade is built on this exact alliance. A coach who intimately understands the microscopic details of his quarterback's processing speed, and a quarterback who acts as a flawless living extension of the coach's brain on the field. Kubiak and Mendoza aren't just working together. They are forging an unbreakable bond in real time. By protecting Mendoza right now, in his absolute most vulnerable developmental stage, Kubiak is earning a deep loyalty and trust that will pay massive dividends in the fourth quarter of a playoff game years down the line. They are building a shared language, a shared vision, and a shared destiny, and that is incredibly powerful.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question as we approach the start of this pivotal, highly anticipated season. Will this calculated patience be the ultimate blueprint for NFL success? Will the Raiders finally break the cycle and build a true powerhouse capable of ruling the AFC for the next decade? Or will the intense, unforgiving pressure of the Las Vegas spotlight, the rabid demands of the fans, and the harsh, violent realities of the league force their hand and demand action way too soon? The master plan is perfectly in place. Now, they just have to survive the execution. This has been an NFL Nexus Explainer. If you want to continue going deep into the smallest, most crucial details of the league with us, make sure you subscribe to the NFL Nexus channel, like this explainer, and definitely drop a comment down below on what you thought of Kubiak's plan for Mendoza. Do you think he should sit? Let us know. And if you truly want to support the deep dive, cinematic analysis we do here, please support the channel by becoming a channel member. The season is just beginning, and the story is far from over.